Salutations, viewers. My name is Brandon Davis, and we're coming at you live from 5 Points Festival with writer Christopher Hastings, and you're watching ComicsVerse. Now, next week you have a new book coming out, I Am GROOT, which is based on everyone's favorite tree monster, as we all know. And I was wondering if we could ask a few questions about, what's going to be happening in the book, or what time it may take place.
Yeah, for sure. Just in general, what's happening?
Yeah, just general stuff. You don't have to spoil everything.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I never want to spoil. So yeah, we have the little baby version of Groot. The Guardians run into kind of like a weird space portal of some sort, it's like a wormhole kind of thing. And as they're desperately trying to get back through it, he accidentally hits a button that ejects him from the ship, and the Guardians lose him. And they go back through, and he's in a completely other dimension, all alone. No one can understand what he's saying, same as us. And yeah, he has to basically figure out how to get free from this planet that he ends up adrift on to get back home to the Guardians, while kind of unlocking the secrets of the planet as a way of figuring out how to get back home.
Okay. Now, you mentioned, that not a lot of people are going to be understanding him. So what are the challenges that come with writing a character that literally only knows 3 words, and most of the time you're going to rely on, his interactions with the environment and all that? How does that work out for you?
Yeah, I get asked this a lot, and I think that's a very understandable question, because it's tricky. He functionally doesn't say anything. But it's really just sort of it's an opportunity to try to really make use of the fact that comics is a visual medium, so he can communicate like sort of your basic stuff, like things he wants, things he's afraid of, and it's a great opportunity to do a lot of visual humor, like him running around and stuff like that, and like really like fun sight gags and stuff. But a big thing I kind of went to is like I thought about like Legend of Zelda games, or like Earthbound, because Ness and Link don't talk, but like those games have such rich story, and very quickly realized, I'm like, oh, the NPCs do a lot of the talking, so we can kind of make that work around I Am GROOT as well.
That actually brings us to my next question, because in a few interviews in the past, you mentioned how Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, and the Neverending Story, they have a lot of influence on the works that you make. So what kind of ideas or themes that we probably going to be seeing in the book? Like how Majora's Mask deals with finding yourself and helping others, and Neverending Story is about finding your way back home.
Yeah, you're totally getting it. Yeah, so like this one it's about sort of like Groot being kind of stuck at this young stage in his life. Like in the main Guardians book, they don't entirely know why Groot can't like grow up as fast as he usually does, and this is sort of about him being stuck in this moment, and it's sort of like that's reflected in all the characters around him about them fulfilling their potential the same way that he needs to.
Now, moving on from Groot for a second, I want to talk about your other Marvel title, The Unbelievable Gwenpool, personal favorite of mine.
Thanks.
Now, what's been the best part of writing about essentially like one of us, that winds up in the Marvel Universe, and they have to try and differentiate between their reality, that's, just kind of like basic Earth, and then a whole new Earth, which is, full of cosmic powers and more damage on a daily basis. Like, what's been the best part about writing about that kind of stuff?
Well, it kind of lets me express all those sort of meta thoughts that I have about like fiction, particularly superhero fiction. Like why do all these people live in this world where every single problem is solved by someone in spandex punching someone else, So and it's sort of fun to like just completely be truthful about like the tropes and the conventions of like superhero comics, particularly in like a shared universe like the Marvel one. So like like we had that scene with we explore a lot of like Batroc the Leaper. Like he's been this perfect character to do all that off of. Like he's this like goofy jumping, kicking bad guy, but like with Gwenpool we could show like, oh, he's a real person, like, and he has his own ideas about what it's like living in this world, because he's been suffering as Captain America's villain for a long time, so he's got a certain perspective on things that like Gwen kind of bounces off of.
Right, and in the book you get to show a lot of these like side characters that normally we make fun of. Like, I remember maybe about a year or two ago, Batroc was like getting his butt whooped by Deadpool, and one of the crossovers is now we get to see that he's a villain, but you know he's not like he's trying to make it work basically.
Yeah. Oh, just like anybody is, you know, like these characters have a life outside of their punchlines in these books.
Right. Are there any characters that you want to work with, or that you haven't had a chance to explore with, or that you're dreaming of using in the book?
I mean, I definitely want to get more of Miles Morales in there. They had a fun crossover where again, she kind of reveals to Miles that maybe she's not a totally good person, and he has to shut it down. But yeah, I mean, I can tell you, we're bringing Miles back for a pretty cool arc, and I think I'm not allowed to spoil the other stuff. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
I was about to say one. I'm oh, that hasn't been announced yet. And I've been specifically told not to talk about it. You almost got me.
Right. Now, speaking of next arcs, I don't know if you can tell us a little bit of this one since you're keeping everything on the wraps, but we know that after this month's issue, she's going to get a chance to see her old past, coincide with the new one in the new arc Beyond the Fourth Wall. Can you tell us maybe a little bit about what kind of changes she might go through, seeing her older self sort of in a way?
Yeah, I can talk about that. I'm happy to. I'm very excited about Beyond the Fourth Wall. We kind of get to see what her life was like in the real world a little bit before the Marvel Universe, and you get to see what that fangirl was like before she put on her outfit and actually started being buddies with all these superheroes and stuff like that. And you kind of get to see the irresponsible person in real life and what that looked like before all the superheroes came along. And then beyond that, she kind of gains an even greater knowledge of that she's in a comic book. Not just that she's with comic book characters, but she kind of starts to be able to know that she's really in a book. And that kind of manifests in some very cool new ways.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot in the book that, in addition to dealing with the tropes and everything, it's also showing how someone might interact if they're trying to escape from their problems, or the dark side of their past, and trying to replace that with a new world, and trying to make a new beginning.
Yeah. I have nothing to add to that. That was very well said.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any other projects that you have coming down the line that you can announce, or any other maybe crossovers, whether it's Gwenpool or Groot or anyone else really?
Not really. It's really right now my main things are Groot and Gwenpool. I don't really have very much else going on that I can talk about. That's it that I can talk about. I was again, I'm not allowed to talk about these things yet. But that's going on for a considerable time.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Hastings. Thank you for the time.
Hey, thanks so much for talking to me.
No problem. For more interviews, videos, reviews, and podcasts, please be sure to check us out at ComicsVerse.com. My name is Brandon Davis, and we're signing off.